going on, everybody? What is it, Thursday? Happy Thursday. And you guys, thank you so much for joining me. First off, y'all could be anywhere, but you out here hanging out with me. So I appreciate it. Y'all have to bear with me. I was deep on some CP time today trying to get life together, but we are here. So again, thank you. Shout out to you for being here. Also, y'all, as always, please hit the like button, subscribe button, share this with anybody, or tag anybody on this discussion that you think may find it interesting. I think it's going to be fun, but also informative because I learned quite a bit after doing this deep dive. And shout out to you, Baylor Rings. Sorry, I don't want to butcher your name, but it's so good to see you. All you guys in the chat, what's going on, Sandra Faye from YouTube? Sis making me want it. Yes, girl. Yes, do it. Do it. I love talking about hair. Stay tuned for that. We have some more hair videos and the like coming up. But anyway, so just to get right into today's topic, y'all, I had a conversation with Dr. Tiason Johnson maybe about 2 months ago or so. I was interviewing him, and somewhere in that conversation, we briefly got on the topic of relationships, and he said that in his research, he was starting to stumble upon different articles or just different research, essentially, where there was different women coming out who were lesbian or basically, having relationships with other women. And they were encountering some of the same complaints that men have been having for some time now. And so I thought that was really interesting. And I wanted to do a little bit of research of my own, like the good scholar that I am. And so this is the topic of today's discussion. And that's kind of how things got started. But before I get into it, I want to first show you the video that basically kickstarted this whole conversation, and then we will get into the deeper topic. So let me play it really quick for you guys if you haven't seen it. It's really short. I did a little just made it into a little short, but it kind of gives you guys some context. Okay, let's see. Okay.
Traditional male role, they're complaining about the same things that men complain about. So it's interesting to see. Well, what's interesting in regard to that is there have been a couple of articles in the last 6 months that have come out by, I guess, what we might call butch lesbians who are complaining about the same dynamic.
Really?
Yes, they're complaining about the lack of affection. They're complaining about being taken for granted. They're complaining about having to protect and provide in relationships with other women, and they're not being any kind of reciprocation that meets their. It's an interesting dynamic. So even when you have women who are supposedly, replacing men in certain dynamics and acting out what we would call a traditional male role, they're complaining about the same things that men have complained about. So it's interesting to see.
So y'all heard that. You have women, women essentially who are getting into these relationships with other women and encountering the same issues of men. I mean, imagine that, and so again, like I said, this really kind of piqued my interest, and I did a little bit of digging myself just to figure out, okay, how deep does this go? How are these different issues, like, what are they like exactly? What are they looking like? How are other women impacting them? And so I grabbed a couple of videos for you guys that I think are really going to do a good job of basically summing up what he just shared. So let me pull up the first one for you.
I'll put it on my page. I'm just confused on why some of these feminine women think that everything masculine, because she was speaking to STUDS, she wasn't even speaking to men. Why feminine women think that everything masculine is just born on this earth to take care of them. Like they don't have to do nothing but be pretty, and we're going to take them on trips. We're going to take care of everything they have to do, take care of their bills and all that. And that's what defines being masculine. Hold on, bitch. That ain't even how the world works. That's called a sugar daddy. And if we talking about STUDS or sugar statty, whatever you want to call it. But if you just talking about somebody you dating, that's not a necessity. If we take you on a trip, that's called a gift. If we take care of anything, it's called a gift. And you better be able to gift the same, because it ain't no one-way street of gifting, but it's not a necessity. And that's what be fucking up the dating world, because a lot of you women don't want a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a companion or a partner. You want a sugar daddy. Like you don't want a partner. You don't want to just chill. You don't want to just exist with somebody. You want them to take care of you. Like, it's giving very much bum. But you know what? Go off.
So y'all heard it straight from the horse's mouth. I saw this video actually go viral maybe a couple of months back on Twitter. What's going on, Eugene? Good to see you here. Good to see the regulars. Guys, on the way, please sure to hit the like button. Also, if you like the show, if you like what we're about, show some love on the Cash App, Venmo, Super Chat. As always, I will be sure to acknowledge our Super Chat. So if you have any specific questions or things that you want answered, be sure to show some love. But y'all, like I said, straight from the horse's mouth. I mean, literally, y'all tell me in the comment section, are her complaints any different than some of the complaints that we hear from men today? Y'all tell me in the comment section. But what I heard, what I heard her say again was these women basically being entitled. Literally, I think her video was called, what is it? Masculine doesn't mean ATM. That's literally the way that she called this whole thing. Masculinity does not mean ATM. And so again, it's this idea that men have been complaining about, like they're being treated like just pocketbooks. They are being treated as if they are just a disposable income, right? Or as if they are just walking banks, and the humanity of them is not really being taken into consideration. On top of that, there is this expectation that men have to perform in this particular way, and that they owe women particular things to the point where even if a man does take you on a trip, or a man does go out of his way to do something kind, or maybe give you something, that you're not even grateful for it. It's as if you feel like you're entitled to it. And so again, y'all tell me the difference between any of the complaints that she just shared and the complaints that you've heard among men, whether it be in the manosphere, YouTube, whatever. Y'all tell me if there's a difference. I want to hear in the comment section. But again, this goes very much back to what Dr. T.Zon Johnson had said that he was finding in his research as a person who studies masculinity, especially Black male masculinity, and has all the data behind it. It was interesting that in his studies, he was finding this dynamic. He was finding that even women who are now putting themselves in more masculine positions are getting the same treatment, or starting to get the same treatment that men are. What is this saying about how society perceives masculinity? So, okay. Says, man, we living in the trilands. Okay. So, but I still have more for you guys. I'm not done yet. I got some more receipts. Okay, let's continue.
Not a lady, that's okay. You can go ahead and go to the comments, because I know you're probably curious too. So, ladies, why is it that when we go out to eat and we get done eating, like you done eating, I know I'm done eating, and the server come and be like, is there anything I could do for you guys? You be like, yeah, I want a doggy bag, because you actually didn't finish your food, but I'm done eating, so I don't need the doggy bag. I'm just sitting there like, yeah, we can get a doggy bag for her. Why is it that during that time, when she come back with the doggy bag in this little paper that she put on the thing, she put a little paper on the table, and then that paper says how much our meal was and shit? Why is it that afterwards y'all don't even put y'all food in the doggy bag expeditiously? Why is it that soon as that paper hit the table, that phone hits y'all hands and y'all be in that phone? Is it that y'all in y'all bank account unfreezing y'all debit card or transferring the money to the debit card so that you can pay for this meal? Or what is it that y'all be looking at that comes to that phone soon as that paper hits that table? You know what? Because I'm going to pay for it anyway. But it's just like, I really am curious to know what the fuck be in that phone as soon as that paper touched the table.
So again, I ask you, tell me the difference between what she just shared, the complaints that she just shared, okay? And let me see. And the complaints that men have, been saying over the last years, whatever, decades, however you want to put it. Please tell me the difference. Tell me if you can find the difference. In the first video, the woman was basically saying, look, y'all treating us like walking ATMs. Y'all treating us like we don't have any value. Like we're just here to just provide for you all the time and you're not even grateful for it. Like, we take you on a trip, you're not grateful. We buy you stuff, you're not grateful. We do this stuff, like, what's going on? Then you have this video where it's like, we taking you out on a date, or you're going out on a date and you're engaging, and then all of a sudden when the check comes, you want to be all flighty, you're so connected to this phone, you're completely disengaging from the scenario when the check comes. Y'all tell me if there's a difference. Again, this goes back to what Dr. Tizon Johnson was saying, is like, masculinity, really what I'm taking from this is masculinity is so, whether it's disliked, disrespected, all of the above, that even women who start to put themselves in more masculine roles start to get masculine treatment. And masculine treatment is not a flex. Okay, masculine treatment, or being treated like a real masculine person, means you're gonna get all kinds of disrespect, whether it is forward, or whether it is in your face, or it may be, more subtle. But that's the crazy thing about it. I'm like, as I'm looking through these different videos and I'm doing this research, I'm just like, what is this showing about the way not only society perceives masculinity, but the way women have been bred, the way women have been raised to engage with masculinity, as if there's no respect for it. Shout out to you to marriage, politics, and sports. Okay, so the rise of bull YS is on the rise. Some men will become completely indifferent to Black women. Yeah. I think we're already starting to see that. This is partially why I'm here too, because you get in the black YouTube digital marketing space, especially in certain niches. It's like, y'all can have, it can be like as if there is no good Black person out there. There's no good Black woman. There's no good Black man. Like, it can be very depressing. And I don't think that that's really balanced, because there are people out there who are actually living good lives. There are people out there who are raising Black families who love one another. And so I think it's sometimes the social media online can get so toxic, because the things that are usually the most toxic and the things that are the most destructive are what gets eyeballs. And that can start to create what you just said here, this environment of just like, it's not even worth engaging because it's so bad. And so, I'm here and I'm trying to engage with women like me, because it's like, that also exists, but there's also an other side. And I think if the other side isn't heard, it can really make people be depressed, and it can almost act as if like there's no issues. And then it can start to really breed self-hatred. It's like, I have a daughter, or I have friends who have young kids coming of age. It's like, it's not fair for them to be branded based upon the bad results of woman my age or woman older. It's not fair for a young little, Black girl to be assumed to be for a thought because her mama or some woman, you know what I mean, going online twerking it up. Like, that's not fair. So I take this stuff seriously. I take this stuff personal. It's like, it needs to be clear that not everybody's out there doing that, and not everybody out there is like that. And unfortunately, the good stuff don't always get traction. But that's why too, like, if this resonates with you, if you want to be pushed back against that stuff, then we also have to support content creators and support people out there who are really trying to be about it and who are trying to do better. Because otherwise, the mainstream media, the mainstream stuff has always been about making Black folks the brunt of everybody's joke. It's always been like that, if you really understand the history of things. And so it's going to continue unless there is a collective effort, or there is a desire to do different, or to create different. So that's a side rant. Anyways, y'all, if you're here, hit that like button. As always, show support to the show. Cash App, Venmo, Share. We are over here talking about studs going their own way. Our studs going their own way. And so right now, I did a little market research. We're just going over some videos. I think I got one more for y'all, and then we will get into it. Okay.
Straight women. These girls don't love you, These girls do not love you. These straight girls that entertain you, these straight girls that give you attention, they see you as a boy. They see you as a man. Them girls don't love you, Them girls don't love you. A lot of studs be wondering, why don't girls, like, take us out on dates? Like, why do they be forgetting that we have periods? Like, all this, all that. But straight women, they see you as men. A stud will come on TikTok talking about their period, and all you'll see in the comments is, I forgot you guys were women. I forgot you guys had periods. A stud will come on TikTok pregnant. All hell breaks loose in the comments. I'm confused. Interesting. These are all coming from women. Straight women who are forgetting that studs are women too.
Yeah, okay. I almost want to play that one more time because there was a thing that she said that stood out to me. Let me see if I can find it. Let me play that one more time.
Guys, 2023, can all my studs be free from straight women? These girls don't love you, you know. These girls do not love you. These straight girls that entertain you, these straight girls that give you attention, they see you as a boy. They see you as a man.
There you have it. There you have it. She literally said, okay, these women, they see you as men. And then she goes on to talk about because these women perceive you as men, therefore they don't respect you. That's essentially, that's the whole thing I got out of that comment was like, to be perceived as a man or to be treated as a man is to be consistently disrespected. That's essentially what I got just looking through the different experience that those women have had with other women. And she also said something interesting in that video. She was like, you know, you have straight women around here who are acting as if, or they were basically pretending as if they are gay or pretending as if they are in that community. And they're really doing it as a way to just try to get attention, to maybe try to get some form of masculine attention that they think they can't get from a real man or whatever. Like, but it's not genuine. But again, the complaints that I'm hearing from these women across the board who are dating other women is like, to be perceived masculine is to be disrespected. And what is that about? So, but yeah, I got more. Now, shout out to you. I saw another super chat come through. It says, okay, inner city bees are a complete different class of suburban bees. There is not enough convo about class. I could not agree more. Class plays a huge component. I want to say it was the Monahan report that I don't know if it was a Monahan report. I think it was, but if it wasn't, it was some other report. But basically it was looking at how class impacted and actually created certain kinds of behaviors. And I think what it was looking at that time is when I think when the Irish came over, you know, originally they weren't considered white. And so they were getting a lot of discrimination. There was a lot of different things that were happening to them. And under those conditions, they were essentially, under those, you know, harsh economic conditions, it was producing the same behavior that you would see or expect to see in the Black community. And so basically what you're saying, yes, class does make a huge difference. Having economic opportunity or the lack thereof, it doesn't just impact like where you live. It literally impacts your way of life, the choices you have down to your behavior. So, but that is a whole nother conversation. I try to get into that in some previous videos, and I do plan on doing some more stuff on that. So stay tuned. Thank you for the support, guys. Again, if you're on here, hit that like button, show support to the show if you like what it's about. And I do have, believe it or not, I got some more receipts for you. So, okay, so let me see. So I came across, like I said, that's just some social media conversations. But I came across this article that was posted by Teen Vogue that, again, emulates this point, right? This point that Dr. Tizon Johnson had made in a previous discussion that we had on, again, how masculinity is perceived in the society. So I'm going to see if I can, bring this up, and then we're going to get right into it, because I think, to me, this just really brings the point home. Now, the interesting thing about, I don't know what this is about. Can you stop? Why are you asking? Okay. The interesting thing about this is it definitely takes a more feminist POV or point of view, but I think there's a lot that we can learn from this. Okay, so it says misogyny in lesbian dating exist. Okay, so this was created, I think, back in 2019, a couple of years ago, but I think it's obviously still very, very, very relevant today. So Okay, so let's get into it. So it says, let's see if you know this one. Two lesbians spot each other. They silently contemplate whether it would be feminist to make the first move. Needless to say, it can be difficult to navigate the world of queer women. Oftentimes, queer female dating is viewed as easier than heterosexual relationships. Okay, so let me just start there. And that is very much a thing. I don't hear it all the time being talked about, but there are legitimately women out there that who they will decide to try a same-sex relationship because they just don't know how to get along with men. And that's usually not going to end up well because, again, wherever you go, there you are. Okay. And so if you have your own personal problems, if you have relationship issues, period, it's not going to just disappear because you decide to switch genders or switch sexualities or switch orientation. It's not going anywhere because you at that point are the problem. Right. So you need to like deal with that. And already this is something that she is alluding to, but let me get back into it. Okay. Wait, where'd you go? Where'd you go? Sorry, guys. Okay. So it says, I used to balk at the complaints of my heterosexual friends' relationships, and I once even held the idea that dating or hooking up with women would be simple. Since then, I have come to know that these ideas are just unfair stereotypes. In truth, lesbian relationships, like any others, can be really, really hard. Also, I've alluded to this in previous videos that when you actually look at the rates of domestic violence, especially as it pertains to same-sex relationships between women and women, let's just say it can get a little bit spicy there. So let me continue. It can get real spicy. Okay. I was not just looking for women to Netflix and chill with. When I started to swipe habitually on dating apps, I was nearly drowning myself in the wonderful, cozy queer dating pool of the greater Boston area. Her, Tinder, Bumble, J-Swipe, and OkCupid became my BFFs. On my reaction to a match ensued a Pavlovian response of less than salvation. It was always short-lived. This was due to a sinister reason that I didn't expect to encounter while trying to date other women. Misogyny. I realized very quickly how misogynistic and heteronormative ideas impact the way we queer women interact with one another. Now, what's so interesting about this whole thing, and you're going to see it later, you're going to see it as we break it down into the, we continue to read. I want you to notice how she's causing it misogyny for being treated like a man. Already I'm thinking, wouldn't that be misandry if you're putting on a masculine role? But anyways, I just want you to pay attention to the way she frames this. Okay, where'd you go? Oops. Okay, so it talks about heteronormative, misogynistic idea, yada yada. So basically, she's saying, look, when two women get together, then it's like they have to figure out what role they play. This is, as a prominent author and Cornell professor, Kate Mann describes, misogyny is the law enforcement branch of patriarchy. Yeah, I don't know that I agree with that, but I mean, this is sort of a feminist vantage point. This meaning it punishes women who do not fit into its mold and rewards those who do. In essence, misogynistic ideals train and sculpt women into perfect prototypes. This is relevant to the lesbian community since although many of us do not date men, we are still exposed to gender-based societal conditioning. Many of us, such as myself, were raised with misogynistic notions like men chase women, men set the pace sound familiar. While others have explored how butch lesbians can emulate behaviors of misogynistic men, it's actually women as a whole who have internalized misogyny and respond accordingly to lesbian relationships. So basically she's saying, look, women here are the ones who hold on to some of these very unhealthy and I guess non-progressive roles, gender roles, views when it comes to women. I still personally, based upon all the different things that I've read up to this point, think it's more misandry than misogyny because the different complaints we saw from the 3 videos that I shared with you previously were women complaining about being treated like men. And literally even one of the TikTokers was just like, these women don't love you. They think that you are a man. They are treating you like a man. That don't sound like misogyny to me. That sounds like misandry. That sounds like they don't like masculinity. There are perceptions about masculinity that are quite destructive.
That's right.
But I continue. It says while others have explored. Okay, no, it says okay. Since many of my profile photos included more masculine clothing, I discovered I was expected to take the lead in conversations, hookups, and plans. Again, since many of my profile photos included more masculine clothing, I discovered I was expected to take the lead in conversation, hookups, and plans. So again, women who are now putting themselves in these more masculine roles are being treated like men, and it ain't so pretty. It ain't so pretty. Okay. And I'm sure there's dudes in here who are kind of LOLing because they're like, finally, you kind of understand what we're talking about. Finally, somebody gets it. But it's real out there. Okay. So it says, it was a struggle to express my preferences and detach the traditional masculine gender role from my style of dress. It seemed that in the minds of my dates, there was no question that I would assume this more dominant role, and I resented it. So basically, she was presenting herself as a male, or she was presenting herself as a masculine, and then she was being treated as someone who was masculine, and she didn't like it. It was a little bit too hard. It was a little bit, it was hard to deal with. So let's think about it. Continue. Okay. It says, I felt this judgment. Okay. Yeah, okay. So it seemed that in the minds of the dates, there was no question that I would assume this more dominant role, and I resented it. I felt this kind of judgment that was likely the result of heteronormative socialization deprive me of the ability to define myself. Women are expected to wait for a man to make the first move, and in my relationship, I was the closest thing. At the same time, I lacked the confidence or the assurance that I was allowed to feel this way. I had no idea how to advocate for myself in this context. While I had taken to the streets to advocate for gun safety and climate action, my relationship rights seemed like an afterthought. It seemed easier to lobby Congress than communicate with my partner. So again, she's saying she just don't like being treated like a man, and she's frustrated about it, and it's kind of confusing. But this is the reality. This is how she's perceived. Okay. Okay. So why is it so hard for me to believe a woman could be hurtful too? After all, the entire point of feminism is to treat every gender equally, y'all. We already know that feminism is not about treating every gender equally. I mean, I think we already know that that's a lie. That's a bold-faced lie. We know that it espouses to be about treating people equally, but the way it is actually, the way it's actually used in society, the way men and women are treated in society, the way laws are even applied is quite different. It is quite different. So no, while it has the veneer of being about equality, in reality, my opinion, it's very much about female supremacy. I've mentioned this in a previous video of mine. Also, something else that is in my opinion, but previously there was the mention of heteronormative, I guess, roles, right? Or roles. It goes back to the idea of nature versus nurture, right? Where the idea is like, oh, well, we are socialized to be masculine or feminine, but outside of that socialization, people will just kind of fluidly go in and out of whatever. I talked to Mr. Obsidian about this, I think on our live a couple of days ago, where he was talking about how women are naturally hypergamous, right? And how women, when they make past a certain amount of money than a man that they're in a relationship with, the results of that relationship usually decline. There's usually, there's more issues with cheating, there's more issues with domestic violence, there's more issues just really all across the board. Once a woman makes significantly more than a man she's in a relationship with, about 30%. And it kind of goes back to this hypergamous nature that are in women. And there's biological reasons for this, right? Like if a woman knows that if she gets pregnant, she's essentially in a very fragile state for a couple of months. Like over the decades or centuries, women are socialized to know, whether it's subconsciously or not, that like, hey, I have to be very selective about who I mate with. It's like a survival skill. So I don't think these things is just, oh, this is just the way I was socialized. It's like, no, women know that they internally have to mate with the best, partner out there possible so that they survive. That's like things that the female species who are humans, like they know that it's ingrained in us. So that's why some of this heteronormative stuff to me, I don't really think it's so much socialization as much as it is just biology and how people have survived over the years. Let's continue. Guys, also, if you're on here, hit that like button. Show support to the show. Find me on Cash App or Venmo, Stay Sade. If you like what's going on here, and if you like this channel in general, if you like what we're doing, be sure to support your favorite content creators. That's the way that you make sure that the message that you like is being heard. Okay, let's go back. We are almost done. Wait, where'd you go? Sorry, guys, bear with me. Okay, so let's get back into it.
Oh yeah.
So let me be perfectly honest. The reality is that not every woman is a queen. Okay, sometimes a woman will leave you on, read or bail on a date. But as queer women, we need to hold each other accountable.
That's right.
Rather than taking that bold step, though, I deleted all my dating apps and retreated to the safety of my friends who supported me through it all. If I could go back, I would be honest. I would tell these women that I really wanted. Being rejected is far better than playing a part and catering to internalized misogyny. Misogyny has trained women to care less about their own needs and cater to others, and that certainly manifested itself in my lesbian relationships, but it is only through conversation like these, awareness and education, that we can enact change. Our community isn't perfect, but I could not see myself belonging anywhere else. So guys, a very, very, very short article. Okay. Wait, did you guys hear anything I just said? I just realized I was like not in the stream. Did you guys hear a thing I said, or was I reading to myself in the back? Y'all let me know in the comment section, because I just realized like I removed myself from my stream. So that's probably not a good idea. Because I'm like, do I need to remove the last part? Just y'all let me know down in the comment section. But anyways, so we looked at the different TikTok videos of just different lesbians complaining that they were being treated like men, and that sucks. We had one of the videos literally who said like, hey, these women are seeing you like men. They're not seeing you as a female. They're not seeing you as an equal. They are seeing you like men, aka they're seeing you like trash. Okay, aka like they are treating you like trash, because men, as we know, are generally treated like trash. So this is the perception of what women are feeling in their experience, and then a woman comes on and writes this article, and it's entitled "Misogyny in Lesbian Dating." And the reason she says it's misogyny is because she's saying she's being treated like a man, and that's misogyny. It's misogyny to be treated like a man because she's wearing masculine clothes and she's presenting as more masculine. My take on that is, no, sis. Actually, that's misandry. To me, it's misandry, because the common thread in all of this is masculinity. The common thread in all of this is to be a male, or to even present as a male, means you are going to get some bad negative treatment.
That's right.
And so this is the kind of stuff, to me, that it's like, it's just a reminder. And it also causes me to ask the question, like, why is masculinity perceived as so negative, to the point to where even women who claim to be women, who identify as women, all of that, women who are taking on more masculine roles are still getting treated negatively. Why is, I guess, masculinity seen as a threat? Why is masculinity perceived as so negative, to the point to where this is the experience that they're even having? And so this is why I thought this whole topic to me was just crazy, because it to me is a reminder of how masculinity in the society, certainly in the West, is perceived. This is probably not the experience everywhere, obviously, And then to my original question, are studs going their own way? Based upon the research that I have found, I cannot say that I have found an equivalent movement of, MGTOW to SIGTOW. I have not seen an equivalent movement. I have yet to see a group of women go and say they are completely disengaging, or that some of them may even go grab the passports, largely because in other countries this lifestyle isn't accepted. But we are seeing women complain. When even in the video that I shared with you earlier from Dr. Tizon Johnson, I had different women in there who were just like, yeah, I identify as a stud, or I identify as butch or whatever, and I don't even date anymore. Or like, I'm not engaged, or I 100% agree with this, that women out here are really hard to deal with. So I've had personally people leave comments, the video on YouTube, even on TikTok. But really the major theme here is masculinity being seen as like a threat. Masculinity being perceived as something negative. Masculinity being something that is so detested that even when women step into those more masculine roles, they get disrespected. What is that about? So that's what I got for y'all today. I have a little bit of time to chat. So what I'm going to do, you guys, if you're on here, get those likes up. Also, if you like what the show is about, show some love, show some support. Show some support, y'all. Y'all know the drill. Cash App, Venmo, Sade. And I have a few minutes. So if things go well, then I can open up the call lines and hear from y'all. In the meantime, we're going to go on a little commercial break. Okay, guys. So again, like button, share button, and say new soundboard. Yeah, I'm playing around. You gotta switch it up sometimes. So I have a few minutes. I'd be curious to hear from you guys what you have to say about this entire thing. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Or is there something else I'm missing? So I'm gonna drop the link, guys. Now, please be respectful. If it gets out of hand, then I'm going to have to graciously silence some of y'all. So don't do that. Don't let me have to, silence some of you guys. But yeah, I want to hear from you guys. On this topic. So it says we heard you clear. Okay, that's good. That's good. Yeah, you guys, if you want to check out, I've left the links to the description box if you want to go back and read it yourself, or if you guys have any other information to provide to me, maybe that I missed, that or that might add to this discussion, please let me know. Yeah, it's clear to me that you see what's happening. Yeah, there's a lot happening. There is a lot happening. And another thing that I want to add to this, while there this dislike and this disdain really for masculinity continues in the society, and to the point to where it's certainly impacted the Black community, look at what the results of that are. We're seeing Black women getting evicted. We're seeing Black women, the employment rate is being impacted. They're not marrying, or they're having kids out of wedlock. Many of them are financially struggling, which that alone creates whole other issues, because if you're financially struggling, you're going to probably live in a poorer area. You're not going to have access to good schools for your kids. They're not going to be set up for success. The cycle of poverty and therefore crime continues. All this is happening while men are being seen as the enemy. And I'm like, while men are being seen as the enemy, it's like the very thing that could actually help. I think women as a group, especially Black women in this context, is like if they could actually work together with a man. Like just on the stats alone, on the information alone, the data alone is clear that married women, especially when they have kids, tend to just be so much better, at the very least financially. And y'all know that women love going around talking about securing the bag and leveling up. So them being better financially is a big deal. I'm not saying that you should marry just for monetary reasons, but it does impact you. So at the very same time that masculinity is being perceived as negative, women who don't have that masculine presence in their life, many of them actually struggle, especially when they bring kids into their life. And this is not like an opinion. This has been verified like many, many, many a times. So it's just something that I've noticed, and it's a problem, obviously. And at the end of the day, the ones who are going to be impacted the most are those who I think hold these very negative and these very detrimental ideas about men, when men are literally the thing that keeps society running and have done so for a long time. And then when men step away, that is usually the end. That's usually the beginning of the end. And I don't want to be doom and gloom, but when men step away, you don't just lose. Some people think, oh, society's better, right? Society's better when men step away. But it's not like you lose, I don't know, their money or the way that they have been seen as just something disposable. It's like when men step away from a society, you lose so much more. There's so many more non-intangibles that we don't even really fully understand until we look at the results. What did I mention to you? Higher eviction rate. Now there's higher unemployment rate that Black women are experiencing. There's going to be health issues involved with that. If you're stressed all the time, if you don't have enough money coming in, that's going to impact your health. You're going to, it's going to impact your weight. It's going to impact your blood pressure, all of that. And then if you bring a kid into that scenario, you're going to set that kid up for success, and the cycle continues. Men keep your water running. Yeah, they keep your electricity running. They keep your plumbing. Just remove all plumbers. Just have a week or so where all plumbers are just off duty. Just all plumbers are off duty. You know what I mean? And then just see how well society would function. No more plumbers. No more electricians. You mean no more truck? Just have a week where all truck drivers go on strike, and they're no longer here. There's no more trucking. We don't need them. They're no longer here. That would impact everything. Because the thing about it is, you go into a room, you turn on the switch, you expect electricity to come on. You turn on the faucet, you expect the water to come out. You get in the car, you turn on the ignition, you expect it to drive. You know what I mean? You go on the road and you drive, you expect it to be able to withstand the weight of the car, of the road. All those things had to be built. Majority of those things are sustained to this day by men. I don't know women who are signing up to go into a sewage. I don't know women who are signing up to go and be a garbage woman. That even sounds garbage woman. That don't even sound right. You know what I mean? A garbage woman that do not even sound right. So that's what I'm saying. But somehow masculinity is bad when it's literally what keeps the society going. I'm not talking like the emotional, non-tangible. I'm talking down to the day-to-day of the way that we survive. And so when it's disrespected to that level, to the point to where, again, now even women who are operating in that role or who are trying to put themselves in more masculine roles, and mind you, every last one of those women there was just like, oh no, we don't want to be treated like men. I mean, we're cool with presenting in this way. We're cool with dressing like men, but we don't give us male treatment. So every one of those women were just like, no, we don't want to be in the category of men. We don't want that because that is too hard for us. Okay. That is too hard for us to handle.
That's right.
So that's what I'm saying. It's really speaking to something here. But again, guys, if you guys want to call on, let me know. Y'all being scary over here. Also, shout out to you, better you, with the 20 on the super chat.
That go the money. That go the money.
I appreciate you for always being here, being a loyal supporter, being a member. We have fun conversations. And like I said, I have a few minutes if y'all want to call in. And if you don't want to call in, that is fine too. I can wrap this up and go edit another video. So, you said you expect the toilet to fill. Yeah. So I'm just waiting around for y'all. I may chill a little bit longer. And then, like I said, if we are done, then we're done. So I'm going to go on let's do this. Let's go on a 2-minute commercial break. And for those of you guys who want to call in. As always, show support to the show if you like what we're about. And then if not, then that's cool. I'll just wrap it up and we will check back in with another topic later on. Okay, guys, so looks like we got one in the back chilling. We can chat for a bit and then, wrap this thing up. What's going on?
Hey, how you doing?
Good. So what you got in the topic?
I've kind of expanded my social media presence and
Sweet.
what else? Like, I guess you would say I've signed on to more social media sites. Like, I'm not very big into social media, but I've always followed on YouTube, and I'm just trying to get a little understanding, because I guess you could say I've lost a lot of hope, uh, because there are things that have been said that I don't think someone who loves someone would say. Um, so at the after the whole Meg Thee Stallion thing happened, there was some audio that came out with like Tory Lanez's jail call and some other stuff, right? It came on Twitter. So
Okay.
um, they were kind of like women were like running with that narrative. Okay, black women running with that narrative that we need to protect black women and we're such a threat to them. And I brought up the topic. I said, how many black men have died or been in the hospital or arrested, protecting the honor of some woman because some guy said something and she said, I'm gonna go get my brother or my father or my boyfriend or my male cousins to come jump you or whatever. And, somebody gets shot for that. Someone goes to jail for that. I said, how many black men
Mm.
have been in that situation? How many black men have died? You know what a black woman said to me?
I,
She said, not enough.
oh, were you talking to what I've asked her?
I don't even know. It was on Twitter. So a random.
Yeah, no, Twitter is the trash can, literally. Twitter is total absolute garbage. I have said this, and I say this as a person who I worked in corporate social media for probably 6-7 years. I tell people all the time, like, if you're not on social media, you're really not missing out on much, because all it has to offer you, especially in the backspaces, is garbage. And let it be clear, these larger social media platforms where people go and say, supposedly have the freedom of speech to say certain things, there are algorithms at play and there are agendas. And if you get too woke, like, for example, I posted something a few weeks back that was a historical fact. It was not misogynist or misandrist, it was a historical fact. And I was alluding to some of basically the different female slave owners, black female slave owners that happened, back in the time of slavery, and some of their involvement. And to be clear, not all female slave owners were just, having people in the field working. Many of them, maybe they were mulatto, or they were given freedom from their when their dad passed away, who would be a slave owner. And so they were given freedom, and then they may have a husband on the plantation. And so they may go purchase their husband or go purchase their son so they can have freedom. So there are many scenarios like that. But I posted that on Twitter, and I got suspended.
Mm.
You have people go on Twitter and be like, oh, black men need to die, and nobody. So even these platforms, and that's not to excuse her behavior, because that is completely unacceptable. But what I'm saying is that even these platforms have an agenda. If we understand media and how media has always worked, and the way it has profited off of black people's trauma or drama, it's not surprising that you see some of the stuff that you say today. So that's why I try not to, this is a powerful tool, but it's like I try to balance that with reality and recognize that, oh, these places have an agenda too. And it's usually not in the benefit of us. So I'm not going to base my entire experience off of a negative tweet or so that I've seen. I may use that as information to guide me, but ultimately I'm going to have to live real life and come to my own conclusions that is outside of the matrix.
Yeah. I think the way my mind works is I definitely tend to collect data and try to find a base of understanding. So this is my issue. Okay. So someone makes a video about we don't, I'm a boss babe, I don't need no man, so and so forth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. That's one person. But then she has 6,000 likes.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about that comment where she said not enough is no one said, how could you say that? No one said that's wrong. They liked her comment, and they really didn't have any admonition for her at all. Whereas when a black man says something like, don't twerk on the table of a restaurant, everybody comes at him for something that should be pretty logical, right? So that's my issue. It's like 80% of the people in the world have social media.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's a collection of thoughts. You know what I mean? And it's free, and it's a collection of thoughts without repercussion.
Yeah.
Right. So to me, based on what I've collected, because I've seen videos where women are like, when a black man is brutalized by a white police officer, it turns them on. I've seen videos where
you're in the divester camp, but now you're in the divester algorithm. I broke that down in a couple of months ago in detail. You are in, now you're getting all the divester stuff, and that is garbage and horrible. And I would not, if for your own sanity, I would not engage in any of that stuff because it's quite toxic and it's disgusting, dehumanizing. So no, I understand, and this is why I say there's studies that talk about how social media is you generally can be linked to mental depression and hopelessness all across the board. There's a reason for that.
So
Mhm.
I kind of more lean towards like the passport bro stuff now.
Yeah.
And this guy Austin Holliman, he's now getting death threats from Brazilians.
So I do.
Somehow, I guess they've gotten to the feminist in Brazil, and now he's kind of in trouble. And there's another video where they kind of got to the African women too, and they got a whole bunch of videos about don't come to our country in Africa.
There's all kinds of different stuff. There's Africans out there. I'm actually wanting to interview one if I can get and talk with them. Who I know a few people who are repatriating. There's that movement of African Americans going to Africa and living a life there and living quite well. And then there's also the section where it's just like, don't come here. Africa is 3 times the size of the United States. It is huge with many different countries and many different cultures. So you're going to find just like here in the United States, you find disgusting stuff and horrible stuff and ratchet stuff right next to the good stuff. It's the same out there. But I do, I don't know if you had, because I took Passport Bros is a great topic, but I do want to try to stick to the topic at hand.
Okay, yeah.
Probably another live. I don't know if you had anything to add regarding this whole studs going their own way, any of the information I presented, and if not, that's totally fine too. But
yeah, I mean, as far as that, I've always felt like, damn, I hate to say this, damn. I always felt like people. Okay, damn, I don't want to say this because it's such a complicated topic.
And don't.
I always felt like people turn away from their natural mate because of hate. So I think a lot of people that are in that community hate their natural reproductive partner, so to speak, right? And when they turn, I think a lot of them turn stud because they don't like men for that, or hate men. But now they become men, so to speak, and they're starting to see that same hate. So I think it kind of reaffirms that to me, that a lot of people in that community just kind of hate their natural reproductive. And I feel the same way about women who date interracially or men who date interracially too. I think you just hate because when I don't know if you're you are into the Bible. I do remember that. Like, here's a technical question, right? Can you reproduce with someone of a different race?
You definitely can biologically. What's going on, Better You? And I do want to stick to the topic real quick. What's going on, Better You?
Hey, how you doing, Miss Shay?
Good. So no, I do hear what you were saying, what about Activision, where there's certainly women out there who don't date men because they don't like them. They really quite hate them. And this is even what the women in there alluded to, where it's like they hate them so much that even when women present as masculine, they get treated with hatred.
Yeah.
So that makes a lot of sense. Better You, what you got in the topic?
So I think it's really interesting. I think it goes to a couple of different things, but just kind of make it a little bit succinct. I think it goes to a society that has deemed men as redundant and replaceable.
Okay.
And I think when you speak about the Black community in general, you have that mixed in with the effects of racism as well. I do believe that there's a lot of people who, a lot of us who are grappling with perceptions that we're innately less than.
Yeah.
So to me, it's not that shocking that some people say to some of the things that they do, men and women, especially in these YouTube spaces. But I think it's really interesting that the women can't stand the women.
Yeah, Yeah, I see some comments in there that says you hate males, yet you attempt to mimic that. No, I don't. From what I understand, what was being said was that there are women out there who choose not to engage with men at all because they don't like men. And and in the and in the community, not everybody, not every woman who is gay is presenting as a masculine. Like there are some, I think they call it femme, some who are more feminine presenting. There are some who are more masculine. So like just because you're gay doesn't mean you're trying to emulate or look like a masculine man.
Yeah.
So I think that's what he was saying. But I know personally of women who have kind of done that, and then they kind of switch back as they're trying to figure out themselves, and they have different emotional things going on. So yeah.
What is your input on why women hate masculinity so much?
I think there's multiple reasons for this. No, we do live in a feminist society, and so that obviously plays a huge role because under a feminist vantage point, masculinity is a threat, and masculinity is violent, and so it's something to be protected from. That is the foundation, or that's really the foundation of the house. I think that feminism has built in America, that masculinity is bad. So when you start with that foundation, then everything built upon that, or everything that you grow up based upon that, is going to have that seed in it. It's going to have that DNA, and so I think that's largely why is feminism largely why. And then there's other reasons that are probably smaller, influence, money, the way that you can make money off of feminism, and just different things like that. But I think that's the core reason of it. Ever since feminism kind of took its reins and it became a battle of the sexes, here we are.
Yeah, I really see it like there's a lot of freedom in America, right? And it's because like the government kind of it's like I call it a government husband.
Yeah.
A lot of women are free because they have a cushion to fall on if anything fails, right?
Hmm.
And I tend to call, you know how the Black Manosphere says you can't be a queen unless you have a king that deems you a queen, right?
Yeah.
I think Black women are queens, and the king is the government. So when they look at Black men, I think they look at Black men as kind of like peasants, and it's like everything they say is like a queenship where everything they say you must do, you must give tribute, you must serve, you must protect the queen or whatever the case may be. And I think a lot of this freedom comes from that. And I think there can't be another man in the house, so to speak. I hate to say it so metaphorically,
That makes sense.
you know,
Uh,
there is that guy, the government. Go ahead.
I think I see where you're coming from. I think it's more so that has to go with our perceptions of ourselves. I mean, you hear it a lot and just kind of, I know it's kind of going off topic just slightly, but we hear it with arguments of economic development that we were better off under segregation and things like that. But literally, there's nothing that we could not do today that was done back then. It's just we didn't spend our money with ourselves. And I think a big part of that is perception that these other places or these other racist places are better.
Yeah.
And for,
That too.
in my opinion, I really do think it comes down a lot to a lot of self-internalized racism that we probably aren't even aware of. Like learning the history of America, Black people have been screwed in so many different ways that I don't even think it's possible for one person to truly holistically comprehend it. Like even from a scholastic perspective.
No, I can understand that. I can understand that.
What you said is so heavy because you said we didn't lose the ability to do the same things we've done when we had no other option but to count on each other. That's so heavy. Because if you look at a lot of like movements in the past, right? There'd be like a bunch of Black people in a movement, and it'd just be one random white person, bro, just like there. You'd be like, what are they doing there? And even in the past, like with the Moors, it always seems like there was like a white person there that eventually, when they got in, the movement was taken down. It's like that was their whole purpose of being there. You know what I mean? I think that's what happened with a lot of businesses. A lot of black businesses, they started working with whites, and it was torn down from there.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? That leads to this. That leads to the topic. It's just like with all this lack of structure, anybody could be a man. Anybody could be a man. Anybody could be a woman, because there's no real roles anymore when somebody really has everything on autopilot for you. I take care. You have kids. I take care of the kid. You run out of money, I put you on welfare, and there's no structure. Like this girl brought this up one time. She's a conservative white girl, but she said, and this is not about studs, it's about trans. She said, if a person had thought there were three different people, you would call them schizophrenic, right? So why is it when a person thinks they're another gender, do you not say that they have a mental issue?
Well,
and it's same thing with studs. Like, you are not a man. You can't be.
Look,
yeah, and a lot of the women in there, they made that clear. They made it clear that they weren't men and they weren't trying to be treated as men, and they were a bit frustrated that they were being treated as men, but they were presenting as men. So it's very difficult. But I do want to say I do actually have to wrap this up pretty soon because I'm going to a live or another panel. So,
yeah.
But if you guys have any final thoughts, please let me know. And yeah.
Oh no, that's a great show.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for calling in.
thank you for having me up, Miss Shay. I hope you have a great one. Hope you have a good night.
Okay, you too.
Take care.
All right, guys. So there we have it. Again, if you haven't already, hit the like button. Be sure to support your favorite content creators. As I have mentioned before, at the end of the day, there's a lot of negative stuff out there that can cause you to lose hope or cause you to really question a lot of things and make you feel negative. So if you come across channels or if you come across content creators that are trying to put out a positive message out there or seem like they're about doing something good, support them. Like, share, subscribe, monetarily support them, because the only way your message is going to be heard is by you doing it. We can't put it on anybody else. We can't expect somebody else to do it. It's going to be your effort personally. So like I said, whether that's you getting out there yourself and doing it or supporting those who are carrying the message that you would like to hear, be sure to put your skin in the game. Like, share, subscribe, hit the Cash App, Venmo, Super Chats. That all lets me know that you're here with me and that I am sharing the message that resonates with you. So anyways, thank you so much, guys, for hanging out. Thank you for being here. And yeah, I think that's all I got for today. We'll talk later, okay? Bye.